In the tapestry of India's journey since independence, one thread stands out prominently: the story of family planning. A program designed to shape the nation's growth, it has woven itself into the very fabric of Indian society. Today, we delve into the intricate narrative of how family planning has molded the population and development of India, exploring both its triumphs and tribulations. From the optimistic promises of controlled population growth to the shadows cast by cultural expectations, our story unfolds within the walls of an ordinary Indian home. This is the home of government employee Azad and his wife Shanti. His mother and 3 daughters live with him in this humble residence. Let's take a sneak peek of a typical day of their lives.
Shanti, today in the office, we were talking about this new government policy of having fewer children, not more than 4 or 5. And they were talking about some medical process. They called it birth control, which they expect us to take. It seems it will be mandatory for people like us.
Mandatory? But what about our dreams of a big happy family? And Amma ji keeps insisting on having a boy. We only have 3 girls now. Do we have to take this control thing?
I understand, dear. But India is a free country and we have bigger responsibilities now. Our population is very high. Too many people and limited space to share. So government needs to control it. They say it's for the well-being for our children and their future.
Azad beta, all that is fine. But all your daughters will get married and leave. Only your son will carry forward our ancestors' family name.
But Ma, I can't go against my office. And Shanti is getting so weak after losing 2 unborn babies. Now that she's expecting again with her 6th child, I can only hope that we have a boy this time.
Do whatever you want, but better respect our traditions.
Azad, I also want a boy, but losing my little babies is truly unbearable. And I also fear if something happens to me, who will take care of the girls? Maybe your office people are right about this new birth control policy. Let's do it.
Yes, Shanti, I understand. Your health is very important. And so are these policies, but I'm in a big dilemma. Amma is very strict, and her plea for a boy is also fair. Let's hope we get one.
Azad and Shanti ended up having 5 daughters and finally a son, while suffering through 3 miscarriages. Rather than going for the spacing methods for birth control, Shanti took the permanent sterilization method organized by government clinics in her neighborhood. As they grapple with a clash of tradition and necessity, their story mirrors the large narrative of India's struggle with family planning and resource allocations. In the early years after independence, India faced a critical challenge: a rapidly growing population that needed careful management. Thus, in 1952, the Indian government launched the National Program for Family Planning, with the objective of lowering birth rates to stabilize the population in line with the nation's economy's needs. The World Health Organization defined family planning as the ability of individuals and couples to anticipate and attain their desired number of children and timing of their births. It is achieved through the use of contraceptive methods and the treatment of infertility. In alignment with the WHO definition, National Family Planning Program was based on 5 guiding principles. Community education. This means to educate and help people understand the what, why, and how of family planning. This is to increase awareness and receptivity among them towards birth control. Parental decision making. This means to ensure that only parents have the right to decide how many kids they want, understanding their responsibility towards them, and not getting influenced by any cultural or societal pressure. Respectful approach. This means to approach people in respectful and sensitive manner, ensuring that their sentiments about the family, culture, or religion are not dismissed or hurt in any way. Accessible service. This means to make the family planning services, including contraceptives, birth control methods, and even information booklets about their usage, accessible to all citizens in their native language. Integration with health services. This means to integrate maternal health care with general health care, with an aim to reduce maternal and infant mortality rates and ensure a healthier life for mothers and infants. The guidelines were formed to help people become more aware and receptive. Many families benefited from the services and care provided under these programs. But there were many hindrances cropping from the old cultural, social, and religious beliefs. Controlling or losing one's fertility was a fearful thought to many. The program's ultimate goal was to lower the fertility rate and to push economic growth. And the government of independent India was determined to achieve this by any means necessary. But at one point, they went to an extent which wasn't just forceful but inhuman. Let us show you what it did to people in the 1970s.
We are here again in Azad's and Shanti's house, where they live peacefully with their son Ravi and daughter-in-law Asha. Ravi is also working with the government now, and he is blessed with two wonderful girls. One day, their life turns upside down. Let's see how.
Baba, have you heard about this forced sterilization under family planning programs? Government is doing this because of some population emergency.
What? Forced sterilization sounds strange. I'm sure you don't have to worry about it. You have only 2 girls.
Baba, that is the problem. They are sterilizing all married men, especially those who have 2 and more children. And my name is on their list. If I don't oblige, they will take away my job. Oh no, Ravi, this is horrible. I'm a nurse. I can opt for spacing birth control. Maybe that way they will not force you. I'm not sure if I have any option, Asha. They've done it already in my office, and I've heard they even did this to some unmarried men. Okay, let's ensure they don't hurt you in any way. We need to stay healthy for the sake of our girls.
What you just saw was the effect of the compulsory sterilization program imposed during the period of emergency declared in 1975. Indian government, facing the urgency of population control, implemented aggressive sterilization tactics specifically on men. Advertisements during this period took an assertive tone, emphasizing sterilization with cash incentives. It's hard to say if this program was really attached to the agenda of family planning or something else. Still, it clearly left a lasting impact on public perception and created an aversion towards birth control methods. An astonishing 6.2 million Indian men were sterilized in just a year, which was 15 times the number of people sterilized by the Nazis. According to science journalist Mara Havistendal, 2,000 men died from botched operations. The wounds of forced sterilization were etched in the collective memory, reminding us of the delicate balance between population control and individual human rights. As India moved past the turbulent emergency era, the family planning narrative underwent a significant transformation. Increasing women's literacy and employment rates shifted the focus of advertisements towards empowering women. The stories began addressing fears surrounding birth control measures and aimed to empower women to make informed choices. In 2005, the government took a more strategic and practical approach with the launch of Asha. Asha workers took charge of educating women on the grassroots level. They would also deliver oral contraceptive pills at the doorsteps, and they also helped make a condom brand called Nirodh available at the government facilities. Now things have taken a positive turn since then. Let's move ahead and see how family planning is shaping up in today's society. The changing narratives in the awareness campaigns reflected the evolving societal dynamics, embracing a more open and inclusive approach towards family planning. And the results are quite evident. According to a recent BBC report, India no longer fears a population explosion. This is due to the declining population growth the country has been facing for the past few decades. Furthermore, the difference in individualistic and collectivist mindsets within the country contributes to how young couples perceive family planning. For instance, youngsters with an individualistic mindset may prioritize their own aspirations, career goals, and personal development before starting a family. Here, parenthood is often delayed, and there may be a tendency to prioritize individual fulfillment over societal or familial expectations. However, in households harboring collectivistic mindset, the interdependence and family bonds are at high priority. Here, young people may feel a greater sense of responsibility to fulfill traditional expectations, including getting married or having children. It is believed that the former is the trend of urban societies, whereas the latter is more prevalent in rural areas. However, this is not really the case. This choice of modern lifestyle seems quite attractive, but has already started showing signs of some serious challenges like addictions of various kinds, unhealthy eating habits, loneliness, and depression, which are some of the major causes of lifestyle diseases today, including infertility. So far, we explored how family planning interventions have shaped our perceptions towards birth control and how changing mindsets of new generations reshaping the family structures across societies. Now, it's time to reflect on some numbers and analyze what the statistics say about our findings.
This is what the world's population will look like if they stood side by side, and this is the share India plays in it. From this perspective, growing population will look nothing less than a time bomb ready to explode. The only defuse to this bomb available is family planning. Let's see how our country has used this tool to manage the world's biggest bomb. India was the first country in the world to have launched a national program for family planning in 1952. In midst of the biggest growth rate leap, when India went from 13.17 decadal growth to 21.61 in 1961. A reason for this could be the effect of geopolitical issues such as independence in 1947 and the mass migration it brought with it, and the untouched resources that were uncovered or were being extracted from India before independence. But what role does family planning play in this population graph? There occurred a gradual shift from clinical approach to the reproductive child health approach of the National Population Policy in 2000, which brought a holistic and a target-free approach. Since then, India has seen a decreasing growth in each census. Yes, India has seen an increasing population, but a decreasing growth rate, which is why GDP has increased more than 2.4 times of the population increase, and we can see an upward sloping GDP. As we can see in the graph here, in 1990, India had a triangular shaped chart. By 2020, due to a decreasing growth rate but increasing population, we can see the chart widening but number of infants decreasing. The percentage of children between the ages 0 to 14 went from 37.9% in 1950 to 22.3% in 2023. Indicative of the declining birth rate, the decrease in number of babies is leading to a growth expansion in the youth between 15 to 64, which brings in a competitive asset for the country if properly utilized. If in the next 20 to 30 years, the youth of India isn't fully utilized by tackling unemployment, suicide rates, and brain drain, what will happen is a shift in majority being 15 to 64-year-olds to a majority being 60-plus-year-olds, such as in China. India is moving from a triangular shape to an inverted triangle.
Can you give us a brief of the uses of contraceptives in India?
India, 2/3 of married women still use female sterilization, which is the dominant method being used from the last 24 years. But the use of male sterilization has in fact decreased from 8.5% to less than 1% in 2015. Further, the use of IUDs also dropped from 5 to 3% at the same time. In contrast, the use of oral pills and condoms has substantially increased from 3 to 6% and 6 to 10%. We can see that in states that have higher rates of sterilization, such as Kerala, there has been a fall in modern contraceptives, and states such as Rajasthan and Jharkhand have shown a tremendous increase in modern contraceptive use but declining rate of sterilization. We see that contraceptive methods battle each other instead of growing together. Hence, it is important that policies to support use of both modern and traditional. This requires pan-India uniform initiatives. Hence, from our timeline analysis, we can make few conclusions. A. Yes, the population of India increases, but our GDP is also increasing at double the rate. Yes, we are moving towards a state where we'll have more older people in India than younger people, but currently, for another 30 to 40 years, we have youth that we can fully put to use to not let a crisis appear. In contraceptive use, we need to find policies that can have pan-India implementation so that all contraceptive methods grow instead of one cancelling out the other.
Now is the time to conclude our immersive journey into the complicated web of family planning in India. In this video so far, we unravel the complexities, strategies, and consequences surrounding the pivotal aspect of societal development. On one hand, we analyze the need, importance, and benefits of family planning as an effective solution to defuse the population explosion bomb. And on the other, we explored the challenges India faces due to familial pressures, the cultural preference for male heirs, and the absence of safe abortion services. The emergency sterilization campaign is one of the most highly criticized ones to date. However, looking at the present and future trends, things are looking promising. Now, in 2023, India is predicted to surpass China in population this year and become the country with the largest population in the world. But is it going to pose a threat again like in 1970, or will we be able to strike the balance between population and economic growth with effective family planning strategies? These are some good questions to ponder upon as we think and explore the dynamics that will sculpt the future of India.